Just getting things rolling. Let me know if the audio sounds crispy. Create with you day. Audio sound good? Beautiful. All right, we'll go ahead and get things rolling. I'm just live on the YouTube right now. I might turn on the Instagram later to roll a couple Q&A if the YouTube chat gets a little bit dry. But besides that, what's going on, guys? Feel free to ask me any questions. Finances, fitness, faith, dating, pretty much anything. Free game. Just want to kind of give you guys some access to me. Hear my takes on specific things. Let's get it rolling. Gonna go ahead and drop the application for my coaching inside of the chat here, and we'll see if they'll let me pin that pin message. There we go. I pinned that type form. So if any of you guys are interested in joining the 100 men that I work with one-on-one, you can feel free to submit an application. We'll see if you're a good fit. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Oh, that's great. You've been going out and approaching new people? Sweet. Isn't that freeing just to go out and just have conversations with people, just to approach them? It's incredible. It's so freeing to have a conversation every single day with somebody new. Don't goon to him, chat. Exactly. Don't goon to me, bro. Don't goon to me. Yeah, that was a funny title. A lot of people seem to get a kick out of that one. Glad y'all had a good time with that. Got a few girls from Instagram too. There you go, man. Very cool. It's so liberating. I love it. I'm only 14. If I was older with coaching, yeah. Don't bother if you're 14 years old at the moment. In the future, maybe. Come to me in 10 years. Come to me in 10 years when you're still looking for advice. I feel like I'm a new person. Yeah, it really is life-changing once you start approaching people and you break free of that fear that you have to just walk up to a random stranger and say something, whether it be a compliment, whether it be kind, whether it be with the intention of getting somebody's number or just the intention of having simple conversation. Thoughts on how to manage a relationship and treat a girlfriend who genuinely is good, loyal, kind, and can have a future with her. That's great. It sounds like you found a really good woman. They are rare. It's hard to find somebody who's actually good and loyal and kind. I would just remain on constant alert. Don't let yourself slip as a man. So many people in relationships, as soon as they start dating somebody, they tend to fall off the wagon, whether it's getting fat, like not going to the gym regularly, whether it's with their faith, even they'll find themselves slipping, pouring a lot of time into this new person rather than paying attention to like their relationship with God, going to church regularly. I would say another thing that's really, really important when it comes to maintaining a consistent relationship with a woman is making sure that you're getting away regularly. Like, you do not want to be around this woman all of the time. Absence helps the heart grow fonder. And so no matter how many times she might say, oh, I wish that you could stay with me all of the time. I wish that you could be here with me all of the time. I wish you didn't have to go off to work. I wish you didn't have to go off on a business trip, on all of these things. Trust me. Continue to leave the house. Stay out. Like, only see a woman that you love a couple times per week, especially if you're not married. Like I said, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And a lot of the times in the modern marriages, what you see in modern relationships is that people will move in together and then they just start not liking each other. Because obviously, no matter how good the person is that you're living with, you're eventually going to get sick of them. You're going to start hating the little things that they do that aggravate you. They're going to start getting on your nerves more and more and more. It's what happens with roommates all of the time. Like, you can really love your roommate as a person, but the things that they start to do after a while just really, really start to tick you off. They start to get under your skin. They start to irritate you. And you don't want to feel that way about the woman that you love. You don't want to feel that way about your wife. So you need to make sure that you are getting out of the house a healthy amount of time, that you are going and doing your own thing for a healthy amount of time. Like, this whole idea that girls have of like, oh, I want to do life with my husband or with my boyfriend. I just want to spend every second with them. No, you don't. Trust me, you don't. That's how you ruin a relationship, is spending every waking moment together. And you guys may think, oh, well, it's not a good relationship if you can't spend every waking moment together. That's not what that means. That just means that you're both human if you don't want to spend every waking moment with each other, and that the little habits, the little pet peeves that you guys have start to get on each other's nerves. That just means you're human. Reality check. So stay a man and let her stay a woman. It's the beauty of a relationship. I got a finance question. I'm 20 years old running a business, but going broke doing it 7 months in, making $60K per year at a tech job. Do I focus on paying debt first, dead broke, and only made $5,000 from the business? Wow, dude, that's really rough. I would start out in a business where you don't have to take out loans. Start out in a business that is more focused on just bringing cash in the door first, especially if you're working a job at the same time. You really need to understand that you need a high leverage activity to do with your free time. You need something that is bringing cash in through the door that doesn't take a lot of capital. A lot of people have these business ideas and they like to get running with them, but it takes so much money in order to get that business up and running. Before you get the business up and running that takes a lot of capital to get going, first try a business that is a lot more lucrative, has a lot lower margins, and is just overall a lot safer. Like, you can start some sort of service business. That's what I would recommend. I don't really know what to do in your situation, man. It just sounds like a failed attempt. You might need to pivot. I mean, if you've invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money, and you think that it's going to work out, like, you know that your product is really, really good, you have to identify the problem. Is it a marketing error? Is it a product error? Is it a people error? What's going wrong in the business? Why isn't it producing? And then you have to decide whether or not you want to pull the plug on it. How do you stay consistent with faith when your emotions don't match it? So I assume that he's referring to, you don't really feel like God is present in your life, or you may not feel like God is close to you, or you may not feel like you're a super devoted Christian. Everybody goes through those time periods where sometimes you'll feel closer to God, sometimes you'll feel further away from him. I think that every Christian needs to practice certain habits where throughout their day, they are actively trying to get as close to God as possible. I listen to the audio Bible very, very regularly. I read a Bible verse every single night. I also try to go to men's Bible group every single Wednesday. I go to church every single Sunday morning. There are certain habits that I have in my life that force me to reflect, and they force me to try to get closer to God every single day. I pray every single morning on my hands and my knees. Doing stuff like that makes it's very similar to the gym. It's like some days you're not going to feel like going to the gym. Some days you're not going to feel motivated. But when you have those habits in place, you have to do it. And then it helps weather the storm when things do get really, really tough. You don't feel super far away from God because you do have these habits that are constantly tying you to Him. And every single time you pray, I feel like it's very, very hard to stay far away from God when you're actively going out of your way multiple times a day to pray to Him and ask Him for things, to ask Him for blessing on your life, help with stresses that you're going through, to praise Him for great things that have happened. When you're actively doing that every single day, you will start to feel in it much, much more. And I don't like feelings to be what dictates whether or not you're actually doing a good job as a Christian, but you will start to feel that your heart is in it more. It's more in the worship. It's more in the prayer as time goes on if you have those habits implemented. I watched your video on making it a habit to talk to randos. I felt very isolated because of how busy I am, and I felt like my social skills have gone downhill. I just enjoy being alone a lot. Yeah, dude, I also enjoy being alone a lot, but there is an amount of community that every single person needs, every single man needs. And so you should try to actively get out of that comfort zone every single day and pursue talking to people, even if it does make you uncomfortable. When did you have the idea to do this sick background? This was actually set up by one of my roommates. He works for my business as well, and he's a videographer, and he's very creative. So he took various things, put it together. I bought everything. He kind of made it happen. It is pretty sick. I got my bodybuilding trophy back here. I've got Aristotle on the shelf. I really like it. I'm super happy with how it came out. My brother Tommy was wondering why he can't get a girlfriend. He is open to many kinds of thoughts. He hits the gym all the time, but doesn't know if he should be Zerka or Clav or himself. Yeah, I think that your brother is going through a phase. Well, first of all, it sounds like he's very young. So don't be too worried if you can't get a girlfriend in the early times of your life. It's not that big of a deal. But it sounds like he's just kind of going through the identity crisis that every single young man goes through. Like every single young man wonders, hey, like, should I be the quiet guy or should I be the guy that's super outgoing? Should I be the sports guy? You get to build your character and you can take bits and pieces from absolutely everybody. That's what's awesome about the internet. That's what's awesome about having different dudes that you can follow on social media is it's like, hey, I like what's going on with this part of this guy. I like what's going on with this part of this guy. I'm going to blend it together and I'm going to create my own character. Like, that's what's so cool about it. You don't need to stick to one man's principles or one man's way of doing absolutely everything. In fact, I encourage you that you don't do that. It's going to come off as super inauthentic. You have to take little bits and pieces of everything, throw it in a pot, blend it together, and put your own spice in there. Dude, I love your talks that you post on TikTok. Huge fan of your shorts that you make. They motivate me and I repost them all the time. Timothy Garcia, thank you. I really appreciate that. How do I become Christian? My parents are strict Hindus and I'm afraid to tell them that I wish to become a Christian and live a Christian life. Wow, that's huge, man. How do you become a Christian? I would start by finding a local church. I would start by consuming content. You have access to YouTube. You have the access to some of the greatest pastors in the entire world. I don't think that it sounds right now that you're still under the authority of your parents. So I would not go out and actively challenge them at this point. Wait until you become a man in order to do that, and you're no longer, under their rules, under their house. But until then, just research. Uh, like I said, find content, find a local place that will help you out with that. I think that that's really cool. I've lived at home for a long time. I just turned 29. I've never moved out. I've been helping be around and take care of my partially physically disabled father and mentally disabled brother. Very interesting. Yeah, that's a very, very tough situation to be in. I would really ask yourself, are you in the position that you're in today because that's what you want to do? Or is it because it's the right thing to do? Or is it because it's what's easiest? Because if you're 29 years old, you haven't moved out of the house, there's so many different things to experience. And that job that you're doing of kind of like taking care of people can be done by somebody else. Are your skills being utilized properly? Like, family is very, very important, yes. But you need to ask yourself, what are you leaving on the table? However, they are very complacent in their situations and basically holding me back from my potential. Yeah, dude. I think somebody else needs to fill that role. I think you've kind of answered the question yourself. The job that you're doing right now can be filled by somebody else. If you have aspirations, you got to go out and you got to chase them. You got to make it happen. How do you stay consistent with faith in your emotions? Already answered that one. Christian, my parents are strict Hindu. Already answered that one. Additional info, I'm $10,000 in debt from it. Not too much, but the error I found out was time management and inconsistency. I tend to allow my control. Well, dude, never, ever go into debt if you haven't proven to yourself that you understand time management and how to be consistent. Like, that's the beauty of business, is that you get to bet on yourself, but never choose a business model that forces you to go into debt before you start making profit. Never choose that type of business model if you haven't proven to yourself the fundamentals of like discipline and consistency, and that you're going to put in the work no matter what, and that you're going to stay committed to this business model. Like, the business model might work. You've just got yourself in a really shitty situation. So at this point, you have to decide whether or not it's worth switching to another business model, because it's not very good to jump from one thing to another, because what it does is it creates a habit. In the same way that modern relationships are totally cooked because every man and every woman just goes through this process of dating somebody, and then they start not liking them when they spend too much time around them, and then they decide to jump ship. It literally creates like a divorce. These people are habitually getting divorced to multiple people before they even actually get married, because they're like, oh, I was with this person, I got sick of this person was no longer serving me, so I left this person. You can develop that same exact thought process with business models and think, oh, wow, I just need to jump ship every single time things get hard. Like, things are going to get hard in every single business model. You're going to have down months in every single business model. You're going to have times where you lose money in every single business model. So it's up to you. If you really think that you've got this on lock now, then I would say go for it. Stick it out. Make it happen. If you really think that you can do it, but you really have to prove the consistency to yourself first. How do I become Christian? We already answered that one. How did you acquire your first customers? The first customers that I got were through Facebook. Like, I started a Facebook account and I started posting on there regularly. I invited a bunch of people to a Facebook group. I reached out to them and I sold them because they were very overweight and they needed to lose a lot of fat. Then I transitioned a little bit more over to Instagram, a little bit more over to YouTube, where the leads were much better and the potential for virality was much better. And I started creating content that really attracted my ideal client avatar. And from there, it just continued to explode. And now we're where we are right now, which is I work with 100 men all at once at the same time. And you can make sure to check the pinned comment if you're interested in applying to work with me one-on-one and join the 100 men. I do believe that we have a couple of slots filled available right now. We have a couple of slots available at the moment. So if you're interested in applying, working with me, feel free to do so. What do you think about the Church of Jesus Christ and the Latter-day Saints? It's really funny. Whenever I have met a Mormon woman or gone out on a date with a Mormon or been in a conversation with a Mormon, she's always tried to convince me that she's a Christian. Every single time. They'll say, oh, but the Church of Latter-day Saints is a Christian faith. Not if you believe it to its fullest extent. It's very much not. It contradicts a lot of what the Bible says. It contradicts a lot of what is true. I think that Joseph Smith is a false prophet. I would never date a Mormon woman. In fact, I've separated myself from multiple Mormon women, even though they were beautiful and attractive. They were not true Christians, at least not yet. I see a lot of migration happening in the Church of Latter-day Saints and with the Mormons, where Mormons are starting to pivot more into Christianity and adopt more Christian beliefs, sort of throwing the Mormon beliefs out the window, which is cool to see. But at the same time, you have to be fully committed to Jesus in my book. Like, if you don't believe that Jesus is God and Jesus are one with the Holy Spirit in the Trinity, then we're not hanging out. Or we're not seeing each other. I'll say that. Thoughts on the tradition of Catholicism and apostolic succession. I am not a Catholic. I am Presbyterian. I do have friends who are Catholic, though. I think that the Catholic Church has a lot of issues, one of them being apostolic succession. Even though they use that Bible verse, upon this rock I will build my church, I don't buy it. And I think that there's a lot of corruption that comes along with having a church that is so obsessed with trying to maintain as much power as possible. And in the Presbyterian Church, I don't think that it's necessarily the perfect denomination. In fact, I know that it's not. I know that we have flaws in our doctrine, probably. And in the Presbyterian Church, they can't even agree amongst themselves what is the proper doctrine. You know, some Presbyterians think that it's wrong to have pictures of Jesus in their church. And then other Presbyterians think that you definitely should have pictures of Jesus in your church. So Presbyterians can't even decide amongst themselves what is the best doctrine. And even amongst Catholics, even though they like to say, oh, you know, we're one church, we're all unified, there are essentially different denominations of Catholicism that believe different things, different ones that don't like the Pope, certain ones that do believe in apostolic succession. It's just very interesting how it all pans out. It is sad that the church is so broken and so split, but because of the fallenness of human nature, the church is also going to be fallen, and I just see it as repercussions of that. I personally would not become a Catholic. I do not like their idealization of Mary. I do not like how so many of them seem to worship her as a co-redemptrix with Jesus, even though the Pope has said that time and again that Mary is not a co-redemptrix. People still worship her like she is, and that is very strange to me. I'm not a fan of that. Does seed retention help us get closer to God? I would say that any sort of sacrifice where you are dying to your earthly desires gets you closer to God. It's the same reason why so many people throughout all different religions practice fasting in order to achieve an elevated form of enlightenment, in order to get closer to God, in order to become more spiritual, because there's something about dying to the fleshly desires that allows you to feel the spiritual more. You can feel the power of God more in your life when you sacrifice to Him. And so I think that that's really, really important. I see seed retention or no FAP as a form of sacrifice where there's something that you really want to do, but you say, hey, I'm not going to do this. And instead, I am going to live according to what God has told me to do. Instead, I am going to try my best to live in accordance with something greater. So I would say yes. I do think that no FAP or seed retention helps get you closer to God because it's a sacrifice. Every single day is a brutal struggle. That's just how it is. Hi, Brandon. I'm an in-person trainer right now, and I've been trying to expand online. I want to move out of my parents' house and move in with my girlfriend, but I deal with a ton of back pain. Thoughts on this? Well, don't move in with your girlfriend. That's a bad call. Maybe you didn't want my opinion on that. Move out of your parents' house, but don't move in with your girlfriend. Terrible idea. Moving in with your girlfriend is quite literally one of the worst things you can do as a young man. Like, it's not going to work out very well. Trust me. If you love that woman, you will not move in with her. Move in with your wife, possibly, in the future. All right? If you struggle with a ton of back pain, the key to a pain-free lower back is unlocking the hips. And how you unlock the hips is through mobility movements designed to open up the hips in order to get your sockets moving properly. So that is what I really recommend. Avoid sitting a ton. Sitting is the number one cause of back pain. People think that it's lifting stuff. No, it's not. It's because everybody's sitting so much that their hips tighten up and then it pulls your lower back out of place. Miserable experience. Not very much fun. I'm currently going through it myself right now. It flares up every once in a while when I don't do my mobility very regularly. And if your back pain is really bugging you, send me a DM on Instagram and maybe I can shoot you over a mobility routine that I usually only give to clients. Gold mine of unks in there. My ideal customer profile is somebody who's probably 30 years old, 25 to 35 years old, right around there. Looking to lose about 60 to 70 pounds of fat, who used to be in decent shape, but isn't in good shape anymore. They feel like they've gotten soft. They feel like they've made compromises in their life and with their fitness. And as time has gone on, life has just felt like it's gotten away from them. And they've lost their edge as a man. They have slowly over time become emasculated through the different decisions that they've started to make and the habits that they have formed. Those are the type of men that I want to work with. One business question: how can I improve my marketing? Because even after getting millions of views and hundreds of thousands of followers for clients, I can't seem to get new clients as regularly as I should be. Well, if you have a really good page, you can try a form of outreach to get cold traffic in. That's something that's probable. It is probably the content that you are posting if you're not getting as many clients as you should be, though. Think about it. It's the type of content that you post that ultimately determines who applies for your coaching and who comes through the doors. You can get millions and millions of views, but are those views quality views? Are those views with a high percentage of the people that are watching are your ideal client? And are you touching on the pain points of your client in the content? The type of content that you post directly determines how many leads you get, but it also determines the quality of the leads and how well you go about promoting your coaching in the content that you post is very, very important as well. So you need a better quality of content. That's what it sounds like to me. Should I take HGH? I'm at 5'3" at 16. I don't want my natty card revoked. No, don't take HGH. If you're going to be short, dude, be short. Just own it. Just be a short, good-looking dude. Put on deodorant. Don't stink. Pay attention to the way that you dress. Pay attention to your hair. Go make money. Girls won't care that you're that short. And you're 16 still. You got plenty of time to grow. I thought of starting a personal brand, but it seems hard to speak and show myself on camera. How did you learn to speak so well? I did not have a speech coach. I went through a rigorous Christian private school that I attended. Somebody paid for me to go there. It was expensive, but my parents couldn't afford it. So an anonymous donor, paid for me to go to this Christian school. And I learned how to speak and how to write very well while I was there. I wrote a lot of essays. I wrote a lot of speeches, theses, all that type of stuff. And I would say that that was really the foundation. And then as time went on, I started picking up content, and I've just been practicing talking to myself in a camera for 6+ years now. And that has really, really helped me learn how to convey myself, portray myself, and speak well on camera. So it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of time, but it's so worth it. It helps you out with everything else. Like, I go out on a first date, I always know what to say. I always have a conversation piece. I always have something to talk about. I always know how I want to say it because I'm good at speaking. That's super, super powerful to have as a man. Reno, Nevada. What do you think about Stoicism based in Christianity? I think that Stoicism is cool. I'm a fan of it. I enjoy experiencing emotion. But I think that when interacting specifically with other people, Stoicism is almost always the right cause, or it's almost always the right path. With Stoicism, I would say that Stoicism isn't quite as important as just being nonchalant and kind of keeping your true emotions hidden behind a wall. I think that that's very important, at least to have that skill and have the ability to do that. And I think that also just with things in general, with making money, with your career, with sales, with women, it's very, very important to have control over the emotions and not let things get you riled up. Because when you get riled up over something, you lose. And if a woman can get you riled up, she has power over you. If somebody in business can get you emotional, they have power over you. So every single time you let your emotions rule you, somebody just has to learn how to control your emotions, and then they control you. And so being able to flip the stoicism switch is very, very important. But also, I believe that to enjoy life to its fullest, you do need to be able to engage with your emotions and experience them. You just don't always need to let other people know what you're feeling or how deeply you're feeling. Keep that to yourself. Corruption is a result of human nature and original sin, indeed. How to get rid of the sexual urges. Desexualize your brain. I mean, they're never going to go away. Like, let's be honest. If you want to get rid of it completely, just chop your balls off. I don't want to chop my balls off. I'd like to have kids one day. I'd also like to funnel my sexual energy into a healthy relationship with a godly wife one day. That would be awesome. So we're not chopping off the balls, but we can desexualize the brain. We can control the content that we watch. We can check our mind. We can harness our thoughts. We can put a bridle on our fantasies and not let them run wild, not let our imaginations run amok. In that way, we can control a lot of our sexual urges and start to harness them and keep them under control rather than just letting them drag us around like a wild animal. It's annoying, the bad faith attack on the Catholics that people say, pray to saints. It is incredibly obvious that it's thing as saying, pray for me, bro. But to someone in heaven with the Lord. Yeah, Catholics need to fix their rhetoric. Like, they need to fix their rhetoric. They can't be running around saying, oh, pray to the saints, pray to the saints, pray to the saints. It's not praying to the saints. That's heresy. It's praying for the saints. And in that situation, I see no need for it. Jesus is the only intercessor between God and man. It's not Mary. It's not the saints. It's Jesus. Pray to Jesus. That point bugs me. A lot of Catholics commit a lot of heresy and they don't realize it. Brandon, do you ever take that jacket off, man? I do. Yes. It's just really cold out here in my studio. I'm in grade 11. All I want to do is do YouTube all my life like you. I'm an artist. I have 200K subs and I'm making money from YouTube at 15. Should I actually worry about school if it stops me to grow? I would say graduate high school. Yeah, it's really, really important to do things that you don't want to do and learn to do that stuff well, even when you don't care about it and even when you don't want to do it. So yeah, focus on school. Do good in school. But know as soon as you're free, you've got a lot of potential. You got a lot of things going for you. And that's super cool to see. How do I stop feeling insecure about my height? I'm about 5'8". This is one of those things where you can't control it. And so stop paying attention to it. It's the only thing that you can do at that point because you can't fix it. It's not something that you can improve on, but there are many other aspects of your life that you can make awesome improvements on in order to compensate for it. Okay? So it's in the same way that when I had terrible acne when I was a teenager, I would just avoid looking in the mirror. That's exactly what you need to do, but with your height. Just like stop looking in the mirror because you can't control what your acne looks like. Stop paying attention to your height. Go focus on what you can control. I still pulled girls. I still asked girls out on dates, even though I had terrible acne, because I just acted like it didn't exist. I acted like it wasn't a thing. Sometimes you have to be a little bit delusional in order to avoid your insecurities, because if you pay too much attention to them, they're just going to drag you down. Like, I want you guys to think about this for a second. Chris Bumstead, all right? He is one of the most successful bodybuilders of all time, okay? He's created a legacy that is going to last generations. He's 6'1". He's good looking. He's built like a marble statue. He's well-spoken. He's charismatic. He's caring. People love his personality. He's adored. He's famous. He's rich. He's got all of this stuff going for him. But if you flip the perspective and you look at Chris Bumstead from a different angle, through a different lens, you might see him as a drug abuser, a steroid addicted bodybuilder whose physique is not appealing to the average person. In fact, the average person thinks that it's gross. He's balding from all of his drug usage. His health is not in the best situation because he's been abusing gear for years on end. There are so many different things that you can point out about even the most successful people ever. Through a certain lens, the most successful man of all time can be torn down, can be broken down if the negatives are highlighted. If the negatives are amplified, he can be destroyed. But if you look at all of the positives, he's got a great life. He's a top 1% male. But you quickly switch the lens and things look very, very different. So make sure that you're seeing your life through the proper lens that is allowing you to succeed and not holding you back. Do you believe that if you're under 6 foot, it's over? No, not at all. I mean, even that's just so ridiculous to me. When I was younger, I actually wanted to be shorter because when you're shorter, you can just fill out your frame faster. Like, you look more jacked. Like, go get in really good shape if you're short. Go get in really good shape. And sub 6 foot doesn't even necessarily mean that you're short. Have you ever read the book Muscular Christianity? Yes, I actually know the author. I'm very good friends with him. I actually do have a school community. Take the black pill, it's the truth. No, it's not. The black pill is a load of horse shit. Do you support Nick? Who's Nick? Where'd you learn the nutrition stuff for your coaching? I've been doing this a really long time. I've done 5 bodybuilding shows myself. I've had access to some really high-level people who have taught me a lot. I took the NASM certification. That's not very helpful. I took the J3 University certification, and that was very, very helpful. I'd highly recommend that to any personal trainers or aspiring fitness coaches that are watching this. J3 University. Hi, Brandon. Just wondering your thoughts. I have fallen in love with a woman who is not Christian. However, she exhibits good morals, just struggling to convert and become religious. Do I stay or leave? Personally, I would leave. I want a woman that drags me towards God. Like, I want a woman who is so pure, because the potential for downside in choosing a woman is so incredibly enormous if you choose a bad one. I need a woman that is legitimately driving me towards God and towards Jesus every single day. If that's not the case, I don't want her. Like, I don't care how hot she is, if she claims to believe in Jesus, if she's not an actual lady wisdom. Like, I need a lady wisdom. I can't just settle even for some like beginner believer Christian. Like, I need a woman who genuinely loves the Lord with all of her heart. That is what I have figured out that I need. And that's what I'm going to find. Guys, there's so much potential for downside dating a woman if she's personally, if I were you, I would leave and I would say, "Hey, like, I think that you're great, but I really need a woman that drags me towards Jesus." Yeah. Like, she's got to be so strong. Who you choose is so incredibly important, guys. It's like the most important decision you can make in your life is choosing a woman. Pick so carefully. Your face, height, race determines your life intelligence, and work ethic is also genetic. This life is all about genetics, environment, and luck. Yeah, that's bullshit. It's not true. Nah, height isn't a make or break at all. It's definitely not. I don't know what these guys are on about. It's really funny. Somebody commented on my page the other day because I was telling guys not to become incels. And I was saying, hey, guys, whatever you do, don't go down the pipeline that just encourages you to hate women, to just hate absolutely every single woman and say, you're the problem with society. You're what's ruining absolutely everything. Do not go down that pipeline. That's what I was encouraging men to do, is avoid that. And somebody commented on it and they said, men don't choose to be incels, Brandon. It's involuntary celibate. I genuinely believe that there is no such thing as involuntary celibacy. Like, I genuinely believe that. Every single man can work himself up to a point where he is desired by some woman. Every single man can do that. And with enough reps, with enough practice, with enough exposure, he can improve the components of his life that is needed in order to attract a mate. Every single one. So technically, incels don't exist, in my opinion. Somebody who is involuntarily celibate does not exist. There is only voluntary celibacy, which is a lot of these losers who convince themselves, they say, oh yeah, work ethic is just genetic. Obesity is genetic. Oh yeah, just like height and good looks and all this type of stuff. Dude, you guys are so stupid. Like, the people that think that are so dumb. Like, did genetics play a role? Yes, 100%. Nobody is saying that they don't. But the idea that there aren't things in your life that you can actively control in order to make yourself better is hilarious. The denial of that is hilarious. I find it so funny. And even if it is only 10% of what you can control, that's the 10% that you focus on. You idiot. You don't spend the time wasting it on the other 90% that's genetic that you can't control. You work on the 10% that you fucking have. That's the whole point of self-improvement. The point of self-improvement isn't to make yourself taller. It's not to try to fix the things that you have no control over. It's to focus on the things that you do have control over. I'm not going to sit here and bitch about the fact that a girl didn't like me as much because I wasn't her type, because I had blonde hair and blue eyes instead of a darker complexion with brown curly hair. That's happened to me before. Like, there's been girls that have rejected me because I was 6'1", blonde hair with blue eyes, muscular build, and they like skinnier, taller, brown-haired, brown eyes guys. You're going to be rejected by some people somewhere along the line, no matter how good you are. Go get rejected. You're going to find success eventually. All right, lads. I think we're going to go ahead and end it there. That was good. Little 50-minute stream. Appreciate you guys showing up. Make sure to go drop a like on the most recent YouTube videos. If you guys are interested in working with me one-on-one at all, you can feel free to fill out the form in the pinned comment. But other than that, would I coach D1 athletes? Of course. Have a good rest of your evening, lads. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.